I've recently picked up Unreal Engine, and after playing around for a few hours I decided it was time to make my first game in it. But thinking up a small game with a strict scope is harder than it should be, so instead of coming up with an idea all by myself, I took the easy route and decided to steal someone else's. I'm a big fan of the Doom franchise, so we'll make something like that. I'd like to think that I'm a little more than just a shameless thief, so let's add some quirky and unique mechanics so that I can pretend that I'm being original. Shoot to move. Yeah, that'll do just fine. Alright, I've wasted enough of your time already. Let's get to the train wreck. Now, the first thing that you want to implement in a shoot-to-move game is the shoot-to-move mechanics. After playing around with physics a bit, I realized this was something that couldn't be done by force. Conveniently, a node called launch character exists, and it does exactly what you would expect. Alright, cool, you can shoot a gun and it gives you way more recoil than it should. But what fun is an FPS game if you don't have anything to shoot at? So, to fill that void in the easiest way possible, I made a turret enemy that would look at the player and shoot a ball at them. For now, we'll just use this brick as a placeholder. Now, I could have just made targets, but targets don't fight back. And I didn't think of that until writing the script. After this, I added some nice touches like a health bar, a timer, as well as a goal area. But most importantly, I made it so that pretty much everything blows up. Thinking that you can never have too many explosions, I got to blasting away bugs. The only issue worth noting here is phantom bullets. Obviously, if you're trying to evade and take cover from enemy fire, the last thing that you want is for the bullets to just go through walls, so this would not fly. Fortunately, the solution was quite simple. I just had to make sure that the bullets were being destroyed when they hit anything. Unfortunately, it took me 2 hours to figure out how to do that. 2 hours. But after that very brief setback, I now had something that could technically be considered a game. Normally at this point I'd go on to adding more features, enemies, guns, levels, etc., but I was getting tired of shooting flying bricks. I wanted to at least make the placeholders for the turrets look slightly nicer. It was time to model. Now, I'm not very good at modeling, so it came out looking like this. Originally, I wanted the barrel of the turret to follow the player while the base stayed still. But after trying some coding voodoo, I experienced mixed results. So instead, I decided I was just going to keep the whole mesh still and make the bullets materialize out of somewhere and aim at the player. It looks weird as hell and a little more ominous than intended, but for now at least I'll take it over the floating bricks. After taking a break from making the game so I could work on the video aspects of this devlog, I came back to the project and realized that it was still pretty ugly. Somehow, adding weird pillars that shoot explosive metal balls from the void didn't make the rest of the project look any better. Something had to be done. I wanted the game to be set on a space station of sorts, where the player would be shooting their way through narrow corridors and blowing up robotic enemies, with occasional arena-type battles. So I found this really neat spaceship environment on the Unreal Marketplace as well as this sci-fi one. Naturally, I borrowed them for a bit. I set up the small little corridor that leads to an arena with some of our favorite towers of destruction. Building a larger scene with the meshes was pretty inefficient, and I'll probably prototype levels then change the materials of the walls and such in the future, but this level won't be in the final game anyway, so honestly I don't care too much. That's also my excuse for why the level design absolutely sucked. It felt restrictive and uninspired, and you couldn't see anything, which actually may have been a good thing. That, however, is something to fix in the next episode. The game still has a long way to go, but for the prototype phase, I think this is a pretty good start. Next time we'll have more things to shoot at, more things shooting at you, and more places to shoot them, and of course, more things that blow up. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.